I'm going to start things off a little differently today because they say there's never a dull moment in Detroit, and today is no exception. A linebacker who turned into a hero against the Ravens is now on the injury report, making everyone hold their breath. Jared Goff dropped a massive statement about David Montgomery that's still echoing in the locker room. We've got hot rumors about a potential defensive reinforcement, and to cap it all off, a comparison that's going to absolutely blow up the discussion boards. But before I dive into every single detail of this breakdown, let me hit you with a quick ask. Smash that subscribe button. It's totally free, costs you nothing, and helps this fan channel grow. Leave a like too, because that's how YouTube spreads this talk to more Lions fans out there. And drop a comment, because this space belongs to everyone who lives the One Pride life. When I saw this week's injury report, I have to admit, I let out a heavy sigh. Zach Cunningham, who was absolutely clutch against the Ravens, suddenly popped up with a hamstring issue. He wasn't on the list Wednesday, but by Thursday, he was limited. That's always worrying, because we all know those midweek tweaks can turn into a major headache by Sunday. To be real with you, Cunningham isn't a headline name, but anyone who watches knows how much value he's been bringing. He came in on a bargain contract, just meant to be a rotational piece, but he seized the moment. Against Baltimore, the dude put his body on the line twice to stop Derrick Henry right at the goal line. That was pure Detroit grit. Blood in your mouth, defense not giving up an inch football. Ford Field was rocking from a distance, even though it was a road game. And it wasn't just him. That moment showed the strength of the defensive unit. A goal line stand against Lamar and Henry, that shifts locker room morale. And Cunningham was right in the middle of it. Now we see him limited, and we're thinking, right when the rotation was finally gelling. That stings, because we're also dealing with Decker, Daniel Thomas, and Sione Vaki, all sitting out of practice, dealing with their own injuries. Barnes and Muhammad are limited too. It almost feels like a curse. The crazy thing is, after that ugly loss to the Packers in the opener, a bunch of analysts rushed to say, the Detroit illusion is over. Lost coordinators, shuffled offensive line, the narrative was set. But then came the answer. 52 points dropped on the Bears, as if to say, are you forgetting who runs this division? And to top it off, a huge win in Baltimore, against one of the most respected teams in the AFC. That's a big deal. That's why Cunningham's situation hits so hard. Because this team is proving it's not a flash in the pan, and every single piece that steps up and contributes fuels the narrative that we have real depth. The guy was discarded elsewhere, went through the Texans, Titans, Eagles, Broncos, and found a home here. That's Lions culture. That's the One Pride ethos. You only get this fan perspective on the Lions from us, because to us, he's not just another linebacker. It's seeing effort turn into respect. It's understanding the weight of every injury on a team that's finally starting to be taken seriously. So, I'm crossing my fingers he's better tomorrow, because we're going to need him against the Browns. And you know the defense is going to be tested. Comment below if you also went nuts on that 4th down against the Ravens. And hang tight, because the next piece of news hits right at the heart of our offense. You know when you hear a soundbite that feels like a bunch of fans talking at a sports bar? That's what went down with Jared Goff this week. The guy didn't hold back. He said he was shocked when the Bears let David Montgomery walk. And look, I can't disagree. Anyone who follows the division saw firsthand what Demo did in Chicago. A constant motor, always grinding out the tough yards. To be honest with you, I thought it was crazy too. Running backs of that caliber don't grow on trees. The Bears just give him up. And who capitalizes? We do. And we didn't just capitalize, we paired Montgomery with Jahmyr Gibbs, creating one of the most dangerous backfield duos in the entire league today. It's like the Bears gifted us a piece of their identity, and we turned it into Detroit's strength. Goff mentioned he always respected Montgomery, saw the damage he caused up close. When he heard the guy was coming to Detroit, his reaction was, holy smokes, we just got one of the best backs in the league. That kind of talk moves a locker room, because it's not just talent. Montgomery has that old-school pro aura. Offensive coordinator John Morton said he reminds him of Anquan Boldin, the type who shows up every day ready to work. No nonsense, zero ego. Hard hat, lunch pail. Exactly the vibe that fits the Detroit grit. And it's not just locker room chatter. The performance against the Ravens proves it. Over 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, the kind of game that carries a team, and Dan Campbell was direct. I haven't forgotten about David. He is exactly who we knew he was. The coach made it clear that Montgomery isn't here to be anyone's backup. He is a central piece. He's the guy who brings balance, who gives the rookie Gibbs a break, and, at the same time, challenges the kid to be better. Just between us, it tastes a little extra sweet seeing the Bears pay the price. While they're searching for an identity, we take one of the best players they had, plug him into our system, and show that we know how to use him. And the fans are demanding this too. Maintain respect for the guys who do the heavy lifting and aren't just chasing the spotlight. Montgomery is that player. You only get this Lions fans take here. He's not just a running back. He's a symbol of how this team has learned to value the right players. That shock from Goff is the same one a lot of people still feel. How did the Bears let this happen? Comment below if you also think this Gibbs-Montgomery duo could be the most lethal in the NFC. Because the next piece of news isn't about the offense. It's about a dangerous hole on defense that could force us to change our plans. Look, if the injury report wasn't enough, now we get another heavy blow. Marcus Davenport, our starting defensive end, has landed on injured reserve with a chest injury. That means at least a month out. That's the kind of news that kills your momentum, because the pass rush rotation was already stretched thin. To be honest with you, pass rush is the oxygen of football. Without pressure, any QB gets comfortable, and the defense becomes an easy target. And that's why the name Jalen Phillips down in Miami is already popping up in conversations. A former first-rounder, young, still in the final year of his deal, and with the Dolphins sinking at 0-3, he could become trade bait. You know the drill. The speculation starts about whether Detroit should invest big to bring him in. Phillips has a history of talent. He's shown in past seasons that he can be productive, but he also comes with risk, high price tag, competition from other suitors, and the uncertainty of whether it would just be a one-year rental. It's the dilemma every fan knows well. Is it worth giving up future draft picks to solve the immediate urgency? Another name being mentioned is Cam Jordan, the veteran from the Saints, and that's where the Dan Campbell connection weighs in. The coach knows the guy well from their time in New Orleans. Jordan has a huge resume, multiple Pro Bowls, locker room respect, but he's not the same motor anymore. Would it be more for leadership than production? Hard to say. Meanwhile, the guy who held it down against the Ravens was Al-Quadin Muhammad. The dude absolutely exploded. 2.5 sacks on Lamar Jackson. It was beautiful to watch. Ford Field might not have been the venue, but it felt like the fans at home were screaming just as loud. But guess what? Muhammad showed up at practice this week also limited, with a knee issue. It's like a bad joke. And that's where the fan perspective comes in. You can't just rely on luck. This team has to make a move. The roster has shown resilience. Hutchinson continues to be a monster, but if he doesn't get help, the bill will come due. Pass rush is a collective effort. It's not enough to have one isolated star, and the NFC is not going to forgive. You only get this insight here. It's not just another injury. It's a reminder that the window is open right now. The offense is flying. The defense was showing identity, but without reinforcement, it could become the Achilles heel. Comment below. Would you go after a big name, paying a high price, or would you try to hold on with the foundation we have? Because, listen, the next piece of news is going to heat up this debate even more, and this time with Jared Goff at the center of a comparison no one saw coming. When Jameson Williams spoke this week, I have to admit, my jaw dropped. The kid straight up put Jared Goff on the same level as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Yes, you heard that right. And he wasn't joking. He explained it perfectly. Maybe Goff doesn't use his legs like those guys, but when it comes to precision, reads, and control, he's in that same tier. To be honest with you, this comparison might sound too bold. Mahomes and Allen are superstars, faces of the league, highlight machines. But when you look at the numbers and remember Goff's performances, especially since he arrived in Detroit, it doesn't seem that crazy. Last season, over 4,600 yards, 37 touchdowns, a rating over 110. Those aren't just random numbers, that's elite production. And the difference is in the style. Mahomes creates magic with improvisation. Allen mixes physicality with a rocket arm. Goff, though, wins before the snap. He reads the defense, adjusts protection, and gets the ball out fast and accurately. It's not a highlight spectacle, it's pure efficiency. And for Detroit, it has worked. St. Brown, Laporta, and now Williams himself are riding that wave. The most impressive thing is the consistency. In the first 3 games this season, 7 touchdowns and only 1 interception. Always among the QBR leaders, always delivering what's needed, and importantly, rarely putting the ball in harm's way. That calm is contagious. The whole offense plays knowing the QB won't throw the win away. And if anyone still thinks that doesn't translate into big moments, just remember the playoff run from 2 years ago. 3 games, a rating over 100, 0 interceptions. He took Detroit all the way to the NFC Championship with confidence. It wasn't Mahomes running 30 yards or Allen breaking tackles, but it was enough to put us one step away from the Super Bowl. And look, it's not just Williams' words that matter. The entire locker room has that confidence in Goff. The city, which once turned its nose up when he arrived, now sees that this guy is the face of Lions' resilience. He might never be the most talked about, but his approach fits the Detroit spirit. Work, precision, confidence. You only get this fans' take here. When Williams makes that comparison, it's not a young guy exaggerating. It's a reflection of a locker room that believes in its leader. And that, my friends, is more dangerous to our opponents than any improvised scramble. Comment below, do you think Goff already deserves to be put at that level? Because man, after all this, we need to close out this breakdown strong and think about where this team can go. After all this, it's impossible not to feel like this team is living a special moment. The defense has shown heart even with the injuries. The offense has proven to have an RB duo that terrorizes any opponent. The front office is facing big decisions about reinforcements. And the locker room believes Jared Goff can indeed be among the best in the NFL. It's bold, but it's real. That's the One Pride spirit. Believe, fight, and dream together. So comment below, because this space is for everyone who lives the One Pride life. Catch the next video, because the breakdown never stops.